Welcome to Spotlight Santa Monica. I'm Sandy Jacobson. The city of Santa Monica is on the forefront of sustainability and communications. Today you'll meet some of the people that make this city such an amazing place to live. With dozens of departments and divisions, there's always a lot going on in our city. And joining me now is the woman who helps oversee it all, Assistant City Manager Elaine Polachek. Elaine, thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here with you, Sandy.
So for those of us who don't exactly know how cities work, the ins and outs and everything, explain how a city, or our city, is organized and what the role the city manager plays.
So our city is organized like many smaller cities that have a council manager form of government, which means that the council is responsible for setting policy in the city, and the city manager is responsible for administering the city. In that respect, the city manager's office is really the hub in the wheel. And so we work with all the departments and the divisions and make sure that they are implementing the policy that the city council has enacted. And it's a busy job. We have 11 departments, numerous divisions within each department, and they have to work collaboratively on a number of different projects, and we kind of oversee it. We make sure that everybody's talking to one another and working seamlessly to get the city's business done.
Approximately how many people are we talking about? How many people work in Santa Monica? I bet it's a lot.
We do. We have about 2,200 employees. So for a city of our size, that is a lot of employees.
That is a lot, yeah.
But we're a full-service city, so we provide services that many cities don't. So we don't contract for many services.
So for example, West Hollywood doesn't have its own police department, and we do.
That's right. They contract with the county for police and fire. They contract for trash hauling, and we provide those services ourselves.
And so well, too.
We like to think so.
Yes, I think so. What attracted you to work for the city of Santa Monica and to do this kind of work at all?
Well, I came to Santa Monica, I'm originally from Canada, and I came to Los Angeles to go to school. I went to UCLA for undergrad and then USC for graduate school, and then I went back to Canada for a number of years. And I realized that it was just too darn cold for me. So I came back. And I came to Los Angeles without a job. And at that time, in 1984, the Santa Monica Pier had just gone through some devastating storms the year before. And the council had recently formed the Pier Restoration Corporation. And so I was one of the employees that was hired to help restore and rebuild and revitalize the pier. And I worked at the pier from 1984 to 1995. And that was an amazing, amazing time in my life, and certainly a time in the pier's life, where we basically resurrected the pier it was the phoenix rising from the ashes, and it is what it is today because of the work that a lot of people undertook back then. And then I left the pier, went to the private sector for about 5 years, but then came back. The city's kind of like the mafia. Once they get you, they are able to pull you back in. And I came back and started to work for the city as on a temporary basis as the beach manager, because at the pier I knew the beach very well, and was able to promote through a number of different positions until in 2010, Rod Gould, our current city manager, asked me to be his assistant city manager. So I've been in a number of positions. I've been a department head, a division manager, and I've essentially spent a career in Santa Monica, which really wasn't the plan, but it's ended up to be a wonderful career for me.
Good serendipity.
It happens.
So with all of these diverse departments and divisions, how do you stay on top of everything? It seems like it could be a juggler, sort of.
You do. It's spinning plates.
It's spinning plates,
You spin plates and you hope they don't fall. But like I said, we have an amazingly talented group of people who work for the city, who are dedicated, who are committed, who work very hard to support the community. So it's not that hard in the city manager's office. It's mostly keeping on top of the issues that we're dealing with, communicating with people. We sit in a lot of meetings. But that said, that's okay. That's how we get things done. I do an enormous amount of work on email, tracking issues down, communicating with residents, trying to solve their problems, dealing with council members and whatever their issues are, and just making sure the city's business is getting done.
So on a day-to-day basis, when you come in the morning, what's the first thing you check?
Well, I'm checking email when I wake up.
Oh, forget coming in, huh?
So we're working 24/7, and that's just what needs to be done in a city that's as fast-paced as Santa Monica is. But when we have a lot of meetings, we have regular meetings with every department on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. We meet with every department head and some of their division managers to see what they're working on, to see how we can support them. I see my role as being a supporter, a cheerleader, somebody who can bring other resources in to help them be successful. If they're successful, I'm successful.
So what would you say is your biggest challenge?
Well, certainly managing as diverse and as complex a city as this, I think just staying, as you mentioned, staying on top of the issues and making sure that people are working effectively and efficiently. So again, trying to bring the right resources to bear on whatever problem we're dealing with.
What's the most exciting project going on right now?
Well, we are in the throes of a number of exciting projects, but I would have to say that Expo Light Rail coming to Santa Monica is probably the most exciting project. It's going to be a game changer in Santa Monica, and I think it's going to really improve how people come to the city, how they take advantage of all the different things that we have to offer. So I think that's the big project.
Now, what part of Expo belongs to Santa Monica? I'm using the word belong loosely, and what part of it is Los Angeles or Caltrans or whatever it is?
Well, Expo is the Expo Light Rail line will be operated by Metro, but
Metro.
There are 3 stops in Santa Monica. There's one at Bergamot Station, there's one at 17th Street, and there's one, the terminus, the western terminus at 4th and Colorado. So we have 3 stops servicing the city. And it's going to, I really do think it's going to allow people to visit the city, to experience all the great things it has to offer. It'll allow our own community members to not only start from here, but get them downtown, get them to a USC football game. You don't have to drive.
Do you think it will cut down the traffic at all?
There is no silver bullet for traffic. But there are things that we can do to start changing the way people behave and use different modes of transportation, and this is one of them. So this becomes another quiver, another arrow in our in our quiver.
What about parking? When people go to Expo, is there going to be a big parking area for them to leave their cars? Because Expo isn't where we live.
No, it's not, and there won't be parking at most of the stations. There may be some ancillary parking at 1 or 2 of them, but the idea is to use different modes to get to Expo. So we are working right now with our Big Blue Bus, for example, to create all the connections to Expo. So that first mile, last mile is what we're working on. So you can walk, you can bike, you can take a bus, you can get dropped off, there's kiss and ride. So those are the ways that we want people to connect to Expo.
I like that, kiss and ride.
Yes.
Very briefly, what is your hope for the future of Santa Monica?
I want Santa Monica to remain a vibrant, vital city. It's got so much to offer to residents and visitors alike. It's dynamic, it's always changing. People like to refer to Santa Monica, the Santa Monica of the past, as a sleepy beach community. It was never a sleepy beach community. It's always been active. It's always been on the cutting edge of a number of fronts, and I think it'll remain so. And I'm very happy and proud to be part of it.
Thank you so much, Elaine.
My pleasure.
Up next, can the city become water self-sufficient by 2020? And what can you do to help conserve water during this drought? Details coming up.
Experience Highways Performance Space and Gallery.
I knew my journey would lead me to a place
where I'd find a highway that I could travel to the beat of my own drum. Ride out the storm, 95 Joey died, but Deadly was born.
And there would be no limits to the vibrancy of my performance.
Join us each week at Highways Performance Space and Gallery and live without limits. Log on to highwaysperformance.org.
Good morning, sunshine. If he were, he'd tell you, right? You're too healthy to be. He didn't look sick. What if you weren't safe every time? What if he's sleeping with his ex? What if it broke? If you are HIV positive, what happens next?
You don't have to live with Mr. Doubt. Common Ground offers free testing and care for HIV and STDs, including hepatitis. Just stop by or call us.
It's time you know.
You've heard the call to help conserve water. Joining me now is sustainability analyst Kim O'Kane with more on how to cut back during the drought. Kim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, what is the city doing regarding this current drought?
So right now, City Council declared a water shortage advisory, and we're asking every resident and business to cut back at least 20% on their water use so we can avoid mandatory water restrictions later this year.
So you're asking nicely, why aren't you just demanding it? It's pretty dry out there.
It's very dry. This is the driest year we've had on record.
And on record?
On record.
Oh, wow.
It's an extreme drought, but the city has invested a lot of resources and money into making sure that we have our own local water supply. So right now, more than half of our water needs are met by our own groundwater wells. And we're purchasing the other half from Metropolitan Water District, and they're getting their water from Northern California, the Colorado River, and reservoirs that they have. And as long as they have enough water in their reservoirs, we're okay, and they've told us that we have enough water to get through 2014, but we are watching it very closely.
What would it take to prompt water restriction?
Well, if we don't get that 20% reduction that we're asking for, and Met doesn't have enough water to really get us through the rest of the year, we don't get enough rains in the fall, then we will be going to mandatory water restrictions.
And how will that work?
Well, this is basically giving every customer a water budget or a water allotment. And so we say you have X amount of water each month to use. If you go over that amount, then you're going to have to pay penalties.
Are they big penalties?
They can be.
Oh.
The more you use, the more you pay.
So if we reduce by 20% now,
right?
And what does it mean to reduce 20%?
Yeah, I know. We throw out these percentages,
Yeah.
like what does that really mean?
Right.
Yeah. So what we're really asking is every resident to really just cut back 4,000 gallons a year. It's really not that hard to do.
Okay, wait a second. Do I use 4,000 gallons a year?
Yeah, you do.
How much
easily.
do I use?
A lot more than that. On average, the Santa Monica resident uses about 134 gallons each day. And so if you just cut back 14 gallons a day, that'll get your 4,000 gallons in a year.
I can't believe that I use that much. How am I doing that, and what can I do to cut back 20%?
Yeah, there's a couple of really simple things to do. And I know you've probably heard this before, and maybe you're already doing it. But just cutting back your shower, keeping it less than 10 minutes, can save 4,000 gallons a year. When you brush your teeth or shave, just shut that water off. That's another 3,000 gallons right there. And then one more easy thing to do is install a WaterSense labeled toilet. These are toilets that have a WaterSense label, and they save 20% compared to what you already have installed. And that's another 5,000 gallons you could save by doing just that simple thing.
Now, is that the thing with the green goes up and
Some of them, yeah, that's called a dual flush toilet. So they are, some WaterSense labeled toilets do have that dual flush capability, but anything with a WaterSense label, it's an EPA label. It's kind of like Energy Star, but it's for water fixtures. So you know when you buy a fixture that has that label, it's going to save at least 20% over a fixture you already have, and it's third-party verified to keep those savings.
And sometimes the state, like on I bought a new washing machine and I got a rebate from the state.
Yeah, well, we offer rebates too, up to $5,000 on a variety of products. So toilets, landscaping, rain barrels, and cisterns. So residents and businesses can apply for those rebates.
What I think is neat on those rain barrels is when they have the chain and the water dripples down. It's almost like a waterfall.
It is. They're really beautiful.
Decorative, yeah. So what's the city doing to save water?
We've done a lot already, but we're planning to do more. So recently we've installed more water efficient or those WaterSense labeled fixtures in some of our facilities like the Ken Edwards Center, the airport, and we're going to be doing more in the next few years. In addition, the new Tongva Park and Ken Ginzer Square, all of that landscaping is using recycled water. So we're not using that precious potable water to irrigate all those new plants. That's coming from our recycled water plant. And then we also have these systems in place in all of the parks and all of our open space areas. So if the irrigation system gets a leak, it automatically shuts off and it sends an alert to staff that a leak is there and they need to go fix it. And then on top of that, we have a really aggressive water main replacement system. So we want to make sure that our water mains are in great shape, there aren't any breaks, there aren't any leaks, and so we're constantly monitoring that.
When you talk about recycled water, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so what we have is the Santa Monica Urban Runoff Recycling Facility. We call it SMRF for short,
SMRF,
and it's
yeah.
right there at the pier. And we actually take all that dry weather that's coming down the street when it's not raining, and we treat that water, and then we can use it for landscape irrigation and also for toilet flushing, like in the public safety facility.
Oh, so it's the water that's washing the street, it's picking up all that schmutz.
Yep.
And then you recycle. What do you do to it?
Yeah, so it goes through a couple of different treatment processes. It goes through something where it takes out big pieces of plastic that might have come down the street, sand, oil, grease, and then we actually zap it with UV radiation to kill bacteria and viruses, and then we send it to our customers.
But it's not drinkable.
It's not drinkable. We are looking at putting in additional systems at SMRF, which would essentially bring it up to potable water standards. Although we wouldn't use it for that, we would just continue to use it for irrigation mostly.
So what are Santa Monica's long-range plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple years ago, City Council came up with a goal to be water self-sufficient by 2020. So we want to stop importing that water from Metropolitan Water District, and we want to use just our local groundwater. And so staff is working on a plan right now. It's called the Sustainable Water Master Plan. We're going to be going to council in June with an update on that plan, and it has a whole list of water conservation programs as well as new groundwater resources. So we're looking at putting in a couple of new water wells and closing that gap between demand and what we can supply just by those two options.
Where would you put in? I mean, if you dig deep enough, you can get to that ground supply.
Yeah. So we did a groundwater study, and we found a spot on Olympic. We're actually putting in a well right now on Olympic Boulevard. And we're looking for some other sites. Because we're so close to the ocean, we have saltwater intrusion issues that we have to be really concerned about. We don't want to suck in all of that salty water. It takes a lot more resources and energy to clean that kind of water.
Now, let's talk about salt water. I know people who have a boat and they desalinate, and they can drink that water. Why can't the city do that?
Well, we looked at desalination as part of the program, and it's extremely expensive. It also takes a lot of energy. Typically, desal plants are located next to like an oil refinery because they need so much energy. And so it's just not something that we're able to do in Santa Monica.
So it's not, they do it in Catalina, I think.
They do it in Catalina. It's a different, I mean, they don't have potable water to use over there, so that really is their sole source of water. But for us, it's just not feasible at this moment.
So sometimes when I'm driving down the street, I'll see somebody's sprinkler running, and it really, I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing my part, and that guy's sprinkler is running. Is there any? Can I tattle on him?
You can. If you call the city's code compliance office, let them know what time of day it happened, the address, and exactly what was going on. They will follow up with that. And then those rebates that I was talking about, up to $5,000, we can help that property owner put in a new sprinkler system or a drip irrigation or even new plants that don't need nearly as much water, and we can help them stop that waste.
So I don't have to feel like a tattletale. I'm doing a good deed.
You are.
And does he ever have to know who called?
Not at all. It's completely anonymous.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kim, for all this good information. And we'll try. We will try to take shorter showers, I promise.
Thank you.
For more on water conservation, please visit smgov.net/OSE. Up next, meet the woman behind Emmy-winning City TV. Stay tuned.
Riding a bicycle can seem like child's play.
But only if you're playing indoors.
Riding in the real street has real consequences.
Play it safe. Ride by the rules. Cars and bikes need to play together.
Discover 30 years of opera in Santa Monica. Discover the Verdi Chorus.
She has made this cable station right here a model that government cable stations across the country try to emulate. Joining me is Robin G., City TV and Public Information Manager, and my boss. Robin, thank you so much. We've never done this before.
No, we haven't, so this feels kind of weird to me, actually.
Yeah, we've been
I'm a
colleagues.
behind the camera person.
Right, and we've been colleagues for 30 years and we've never done this. Hard to believe, isn't it?
It's hard.
Well, you've made City TV really the envy of every cable station in the country. First of all, explain a little bit about how cities have their own cable channel.
Well, we're very fortunate in Santa Monica that we're a community that's very committed to technology and transparency and wanting to keep residents informed. So back all those years ago, City TV is celebrating its 25th anniversary. We created this channel the hallmark and its #1 rated show, of course, is City Council meetings, which I call the best live show on Tuesday nights in Santa Monica. And back in those times, the city was looking at enormous changes, like the 3rd Street Promenade was still just a street that was not really even a retail area. And so the community was very engaged, just like they are today. And good engagement and good controversy creates good ratings for us. And so I'm very proud of how we've been able to continue that tradition of providing local community information.
And we have won many awards for that, haven't we?
Well, we've won hundreds of awards. We've gotten 12 Emmy Awards. In its early days, this station was the #1 government access channel in the country 3 years in a row. We've won Best in the State 6 or 7 times over the past decade. So we're really well known for our high quality programming, and I'm very, very proud of that.
And one of the things, and not to brag, that I've always been involved in is the election programming. And I know that stations from all over the country have consulted with you. They've come here to watch us as we do our election programming. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're very fortunate that the Center for Governmental Studies considers us to be the top government access channel in the country. In many cases, we're outdoing even states in terms of the election programming that we're providing to local voters. And our goal has always been not just to get people to come out and vote, but to be educated voters and to show people the candidates and to give them election programming in ways that they will relate to and will help them make good decisions.
Well, the wonderful thing about it, I think especially, is for the candidates, because it doesn't cost them anything and they get not just publicity on air, but also on the internet, right?
Right, so it's giving them probably thousands of dollars of promotion and video resources so that they can, it kind of in a way kind of equalizes the race. So even if you aren't a heavily financially supported candidate, you can still get a lot of exposure through our channel as well as our website, smvote.org, where you can see all the videos. Right. And the day before the election, it's incredible how many clicks and people are looking at the videos and checking it out to make their voting decisions. And that's what we've designed it to be, is something that when you're ready to decide how you want to vote, all that information's right at your fingertips.
And I know that as being the person who's interviewed them all these years, you get to know these people. You really, really do. And they get a chance to say what they want to say, and they don't have to do it in a 1-minute time, when you sound bite. It's wonderful for them.
And that's what we want people to do, is kind of really see the personalities of the people and see them as human beings, as well as candidates who have thoughts and ideas and stands on issues, but also are they relatable and are they the kind of people you'd want leading the city?
Exactly, you want representing you. One of the things that's wonderful in the last 25 years, 24, I've been working here 24 years.
Only 24.
Only 24, but we started out in a truck, in an RV that was behind City Hall. And now we are sitting in this state-of-the-art studio. And that's all because of you, I think.
Well, it's for a lot of resources that have come to the city to support us creating the studio. But for the past 2 years, we've been here at Studio 16, and it's a permanent home for City TV, which is something I've always wanted us to have. And it's state-of-the-art. It's a beautiful facility. As we're sitting here right now, we've got 4 cameras, a full control room. We've got a full crew from Santa Monica College of these very talented students who are learning the craft of TV production. We've got volunteer producers, hosts, along with our staff, creating over 150 shows a year out of this facility.
Well, I think that's one of the things that City TV is known for. Besides doing those things that were strictly for the city, like our show, you've also done a lot of creative things. We've done documentaries together. You have talk shows. You have food shows, and talk a little bit about how those ideas come to you, how you even do that.
Well, in some ways, Santa Monica it's part of LA, but it's its own community. And as our own community, we have our own passions, our own lifestyle, and our own interests. You know, we're a community that's committed to being green, to biking, to walking, to farmers markets and organic living. We're committed to education in the schools. And so what we're really trying to do is reflect what is unique about Santa Monica and reflect that back to the interests of the community and the audience in our programming. And what we're really lucky is that we're not a commercial channel, so we don't have to sell ads or have sponsorships or have high ratings. So I'm really glad that we're here to kind of promote things that we think are values of our community, to promote reading a book, going and looking at art, going to the local theater and supporting local culture and nonprofit organizations, and having compassion and passion for all the things that are Santa Monica.
So the technology has changed so dramatically, and I've always been very impressed with how you always seem to know what the latest gizmo is and try to get it for us here at City TV. How has it changed? How dramatically?
Well, TV technology has changed a lot over the past 25 years, and so now you can watch City TV online, on YouTube, on your mobile device, on your tablet, and we just got a broadcast digital channel, so that puts us into an area where 14 million people live throughout Southern California. So far and wide, whether you have bunny ears or cable TV or just an iPhone, you can watch City TV.
I can watch City TV on my iPhone, truly?
Yes, yes.
How do you do that?
And so you go to smgov.net/CityTV Live, and you can watch a live stream. So wherever you are in the world, you don't have to miss a council meeting.
Right.
Or you can always stay up till 2 a.m. with the council.
So Robin, how did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I'm very lucky because I think what I've been able to do with City TV is to take a channel in a government institution and make it a resource for the community. And I really wanted to do a channel that was there to do good and to make a difference. And the programming I've done over the years have helped people find new careers, have helped people learn about new services, and even saved lives. And when you can make a difference in a community like City TV is, you can be very proud and want to do even more.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure working for you. And
Yes.
It was fun interviewing you finally. For more information, please visit smgov.net/CityTV. Thank you so much for watching Spotlight Santa Monica. Join us next time for more of the people and departments that make Santa Monica such a desirable place to live.